laws that are here in the book of Exodus were handed down anyway. These are some things that were handed down in God's society all the time. We have it written down by the hand of God now. God wants us to understand some basic things. What are the basic rules of government that God has always put down?
Ten Commandments?
What?
Ten Commandments?
What?
The Ten Commandments?
Well, we have the Ten Commandments, but let's get out more general with that. What are the basic rules of any human government? To protect the people from each other. And to protect the people from the government. All right, that's it. Well, I mean, there's where it is. To protect the people from each other and to protect the people from the government. That's what. And in the law of Moses here, you will find out all of the answers that we need in the world today. If the world has gone wrong, it's because they got away from the answers. Okay? They got away from them. 21 in verse number 10. All right. Brother Wally.
If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish?
All right. Back in these days. What?
Take care of her.
He's going to take care of the woman. All right. If a man takes another wife to himself, and it's what it talks about here, or for his son or whatever, this is women's rights. Is what it is. Okay. We have women's rights. It didn't start in 1900. 1920. It started back here in the Bible days. Women's rights started right back here. What it simply says here is, if you forgot where I was. Maryland. Threw their curve this morning. If he takes himself another woman, he may not reduce her food, her clothing, or her rights. And it meant her rights as a woman. She had the right to cohabit with him, all right, for pleasure and for children, okay? Because back in those days, they didn't have any Social Security. They didn't have any system to take care of them at all. How was a parent taken care of in their old age?
Kids took care of them?
The children took care of them. Now, if the woman didn't have any children, where was she? Like the widow with the mites. All right, nothing. She had nothing. All right, so they were supposed to do that, and even in the New Testament, Jesus refers to the Jews when they would say Corban, or what did that mean?
Just means that they dedicate their stuff to the church so they don't have to take care of the woman.
Oh, but because they don't have to take care of their parents. When their parents got old, the Jewish, the rabbis, some of them, the scoundrels, would say, I have dedicated all of my wealth to the temple, and therefore I cannot help my parents. So they get to keep all their wealth, and when they died, then it went to the temple, but so what? It didn't interfere with it after they were dead anyway. They got to swim in all their wealth all the time and not take care of their parents.
When you look at this, the idea of multiple wives in that day, even though I guess God permitted it, I doubt if it ever was a real blessing.
Anytime you look in the Bible, among God's people in the history, multiple wives were multiple problems. They were. I'll go all the way back. Go back to the head of the Jewish people, which was who? Who was it? Who was it?
Jacob.
Is that right? Yes.
Abraham.
Go back over here. Who was it? The head of the Jewish people. Jacob. Oh, Abraham. Abraham. Just look at Abraham for a minute. And then you see the far-reaching problems of this. Okay? Here we have Abraham. Abraham had a wife which was his half-sister, okay? Sarah. Now, in the beginning of the promise that God made to Abraham, he didn't specify from whom the promised child would come in all reality. I want you to pay attention to that. Read between the lines sometimes. He didn't specify with whom the promised child was going to be. Later on, he did. Okay? Later on, God did specify that it was going to be through Sarah. When God made the promise, he was only married to one woman. But he did have a woman that was could be his concubine or a secondary wife, which was who?
Hagar.
Hagar. All right, the Egyptian. So we have the woman of the promise, and then we have the woman of the Egyptians, which is a type of what? The world. Okay? Type of the world. So here we are. We have a man of God. Now he's got two women in his life. One of them is not involved yet with him, which is Hagar. But Sarah is his wife, and God makes him a promise. Well, Sarah jumps up, and she says in the end, she said, Abraham, we're not going to have any children at all. Abraham had even thought about something before this. What was Abraham's number one servant? Eliezer. All right. Abraham thought that he wasn't going to have any children, so he said to Eliezer, you will be my adopted son. He was going to confer everything upon Eliezer. All right. Eliezer was really important to Abraham. It says in rabbinical history that when Abraham believed God, that he baptized all of his servants and possessions. All right? And baptized them into the promise of God. Those servants meant a lot to Abraham. He wanted to be, he was not only a patriarch, but he wanted them to be grafted into the promises of God. So Sarah says, take Hagar, my servant, for wife, and she'll raise up a child for me. Okay? Well, he did, and they had a child. And then God appeared to him later on and told him that wasn't the promised son. When God appeared to Abraham, he said, what? I'm going to give you a promised son. I'm going to give you the promise through Sarah. What did Abraham say? Remember what he said, Brother Mike? What did Abraham say? Huh?
I'm not sure.
Huh? What did he say?
I'm too old.
No. He said, I already got one. I already got a son. Already have a son. I don't need one. I have one. What did God tell him? No. That's not the one. Your oldest son is not the one. This is what we call in the Bible the rejection of the firstborn, which is, you travel that all the way through the word, okay? Well, Sarah had a child. Okay? And what happened in the family there? Who was taunting the promised son? Huh?
Ishmael.
Ishmael was promised. He was taunting and humiliating and insulting the heir. Okay? And what did God tell Abraham to do? Get rid of him. And that broke Abraham's heart. This still was Abraham's son. This is his boy. This is my eldest. This is my son. Okay? When Sarah died, what did Abraham do?
He took another one.
He got himself another wife and had a whole bunch more children.
6.
Now, huh?
6.
6 more children. And every one of them became princes of nations. All right? So now we have Abraham with his wife, okay? And the promised son, which is, who was his son? Isaac. And then Isaac had Jacob and Esau, and Jacob was the promised son. Talk about the devil trying to thwart God's promises. Now we have the promised son, which is Isaac, okay? And then we have all the children of Keturah, and we have all of the descendants of Ishmael. Now in the Middle East today, what kind of war do we have today? Can you curse your children for 100 generations? It did. It happened, didn't it? What is the problem in the Middle East today? All of the illegitimate children of Abraham fighting with the promised son. In all reality.
But it was interesting to me is that Ishmael also, he had 12 children, 12 princes.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 12 princes. We had 6 with Keturah, and we have 12. And then all of these children are fighting against the promised son. The promised one, all right? Let's go on a little bit further now. As we go on. So we see that with multiple wives, you'll have multiple problems. All right? It's just something to do. One is more than you can handle in life, to tell you the truth. All right? But God has allowed it down through the ages. All right? Number, where we are? Number
11.
Number 11. All right? Brother Mike. Number 11.
And the matter distressed Abraham greatly because of his son.
Where are you?
21:11. Oh, Exodus.
Exodus 21:11. Are you
I'm
in
in
Genesis
Genesis.
21:11? I'm sure that's where you are.
That doesn't sound right, huh?
Exodus 21 and verse 11. All right? Exodus 21 and verse 11. It's talking about the rights, women's rights, here in Exodus 21.
And if he will not do these 3 things for her, then she shall go out for nothing without payment of money.
All right, he's talking about a woman that has been bought for his wife. He wasn't satisfied with her. He could not, if he got another wife, he had to sleep with her also and take care of her physical needs and give her children also. All right, so they would take care of it. And if he didn't do these things, then she could go out free because she had been bought. Now she could leave. All right. Now let's look in verse number 12. Verse number 12. Exodus 21 and verse number 12. We're talking about the basic rules of human government here among all people. Brother John.
Number 13. Or, sorry, 12. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death.
All right, now we're talking about brawling and fighting. If we applied these rules today, we'd have a lot cleaner society. Brother Wally.
You think these little kids that killed that parent should be executed?
Which
according to this?
Yeah. Well, according to the law.
Yeah.
If you kill your parents, what's supposed to happen to you under the law? Period.
They take care of it.
Yeah, take
But
care of it.
in our society, they don't do that.
No. We have gone away from the Word of God. If we want according to the Word of God, first of all, God's justice is true justice, okay? It's true justice. It's real justice because it's handed down divinely to us.
But
He's
some-
got a better idea than we do. Yeah.
Some of our social workers would think this is gross.
I don't care. I couldn't care less. I do believe the Bible, okay? That's it.
Amen.
The Bible is going to be the end. That's the last word, period. All right? Number 13, number 13, Brother Fernando, or Hernando?
And then number 12, is that for all times, even in our day, the Testament, New Testament days?
It should be. It should be. This is
That's
the
where you
law,
get the
but
argument.
these are some rules of basic government that existed. If you'll trace these rules all the way back to Noah's day, this is the basic rules for human government. If a human government is going to be successful and fair and going to exist and protect two rules in human government are what? What are the 2 rules?
Protect people from each other.
Protect people from each other and
Protect
people from the government. All right. We always have people trying to mess with somebody else's lives. All right. Always people are trying to enslave somebody to do their work. That's what they do. That's the history of mankind. Enslavement. All right.
Brother Phillips,
Yes.
but one of the arguments, and I think that he was going into that, is that that was on the Old Testament, on the times of the law, but
Yeah.
now we're on the times of the grace,
Mhm.
and that because
It's worse now.
But
It's supposed
we're
to be
under
worse
grace,
now.
we're not under the law anymore, but a human government, for it to be successful, still has to operate under these basic rules.
A death penalty has to be.
The death penalty has to be there. You have to, and we're going to look at all these things. Everything that, if the, at one time, I said this last week, and I want you to pay attention to this, before you could ever be a doctor in history, not within, up till the 1800s, okay? Before you could ever become a doctor, you had to get a doctorate in theology first. Before you could ever become a lawyer, boy, this ought to make the lawyer shudder. You had to have a doctorate of theology before you could ever pass your bar. Why? Because every rule of human government between man and man is in God's Word. Period. It's there and it's set in stone. Solidly. Okay? These are rules that need to be carried out. This is what we call the civil law. How man is supposed to treat man. And then after we read these things, if these laws were carried out, we would have a successful government. I can guarantee you, because God would bless it. If you follow the rules, He will bless it. Simple as that.
Yeah, but we are so much advanced over these people that we can rehabilitate these little rascals.
There are times we will find that. Brother Wally. There are people you rehabilitate in the road camp. People really got rehabilitated in road camps, I can guarantee you. All right. Number 14.
It's 13. I didn't read.
13, brother.
But if he did not lie in wait for him, but God let him fall into the hands, then I will appoint you a place to which he may flee.
Okay, now what happens if you kill a man and you didn't intend to kill a man? Maybe the man, you just got in an argument with him out there someplace and accidentally he got killed. There was going to be a place that he could flee so he would be safe, all right? But he was supposed to stay there from now on. He had to have a new family and no occupation and everything else from that time on. This is what we call the city of refuge, okay? The city of refuge is also a type of Christ, too, all right? Brother Fernando, go on further.
If, however, a man acts presumptuously toward his neighbor so as to kill craftily.
Kill him how? Craftily. Now what does that mean?
Premeditated?
Premeditated murder. That's what it is. Premeditated murder. Okay? This is premeditated murder. All right?
You are to take him even from my altar that he may die.
Don't you let him even go into the horns of the altar. They could go in there to the horns of the altar and they could grab on them and call for mercy. He said if he's there calling for mercy, you take him and kill him. Execute the rest. Brother Floyd.
Is that what Cain done to Abel? Premeditated?
Evidently. Premeditated. It was not only anger, but it was premeditated because he planned it. He said when they were out there in the place, then that's what he did.
What about I always thought he went insane and then killed him. You know,
He was, well, when people, if you look at it,
mentally insane.
when somebody kills somebody, they are nuts.
Yeah.
They are. You know, but when you kill somebody, you're killing something made in the image of God.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Do you know, before the time of Noah, if a man killed an animal, that he was supposed to be killed? Did you know that? Before the time of Noah, before they went on that ark, if a man shed an animal's blood, killed an animal.
Where do you find that?
In the Word.
Yeah, I mean, what, do you have a specific place where it does say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Back under
I'll
the...
take your word.
Okay. We don't want to chase that rabbit right now. But Just look up blood in your interlinear and go back and see. If a man shed an animal's blood, animals were not for food.
Beast of burden or something like that?
No, they were for companions at that time. When God created animals, they were companions. They were not food. Okay? And when God created them, they had life in them. And it says, if a man killed an animal and shed its blood, that he was supposed to die also. He was supposed to have his blood shed. Now, that really is a jar to our society and our thinking today.
But they had to kill animals for sacrifice.
That's right. But that blood meant something, didn't it? That blood meant something. That blood meant life.
Well, it meant
And no
something
life was supposed to be shed except for a sacrifice.
It meant something after the flood.
Yeah, it did. But they became food also after the flood, but not before the flood. Okay? Not before the flood. Now you need to understand that. The reason why this chart is up on the wall here is so you can get things in perspective of time. What is the biggest problem people have with the Bible?
They mix it all up.
They get it all mixed up. This sets it out dispensationally so you can rationally understand what period of time. But I said a while ago, when did God establish human government and the laws of human government? When did he do it? In the days of Noah. It wasn't in the days of Moses. Moses reinstituted and written in stone. These laws were before what we call oral laws, oral tradition, okay, before this.
But Jim,
Yes.
now I kind of understand what Seventh-day Adventists are, because they believe in a vegetarian diet, so not to shed blood or...
Well, they have, the back to Eden and all that, you know,
Yeah.
this is
I kind of
something.
understand where they're coming from then, huh?
Yeah, well, a little bit, but it's,
They're still...
that's here to there, okay? Okay, now, even if the man, verse number 14, even if he gets to the altar, a place of safety, take him out and kill him because there is no mercy. This man is premeditated murderer. All right? Number 15, Brother Floyd.
Whoever strikes his father or his mother shall be put to death.
All right. Why? Why on earth, if a man strikes his mother and father, he shall be put to death?
He's not honoring them.
What is the deal? Who does the mother and father stand for?
God,
Authority?
Brother Mike?
God.
God. The man of every family is in place of God in that family. Do you know that? He is a leader of that home. The wife should respect him as the leader of that home and talk to him, as the Bible says in the New Testament, as if he was God, like Sarah called Abraham what?
Lord.
Adonai. The Lord. If you have that kind of respect in a home, if the woman will not respect the man, and then it runs on to the children. And the father is supposed to represent God to his family. And if the father represents God to his family and the children strike the man, the father, who are they striking? They're striking God. When a woman stands against her husband, who is she standing against? God. As simple as that. These are some real strong rules, okay? Yes.
There are today men who do not fill that post, although positionally they do, but some of the men are pretty rascals.
The man will answer to God. Because God is not going to remove the man from the head of the home, is he? So who will the man? The woman answers to the man, but the man answers to whom? God. He answers to God. Simple as that. Now this is the headship of the home, okay? And then, now these are basic rules. We really need to set down some of these basic rules in society. If we obeyed these basic rules in society, we wouldn't have much problems, okay? If he strikes his mother and father, he shall be put to death, because the mother and father represent God. Okay? Number 16. Here's another thing. Number 16, Brother Luis.
And he that stealeth a man of the son of Israel, and selleth him, or he be found in his hand, surely be put to death.
All right, what in the world is it talking about here in number 16? What's it say there in New American Standard, Brother Hernando?
He who kidnaps
Kidnaps.
a man, whether he sells him or he is found in his possession, shall surely be put to death.
Kidnapping is a capital crime. It had been for many, many years. A capital crime. Kidnapping is a capital crime. But you know what? We have so much of that out in the world today, don't we? People kidnapping other people all the time. Over there off the coast of Africa, we have pirates out there kidnapping ships, and whole ships full of people. What's supposed to happen to them? When you establish the death penalty, and when you establish real hard prosecution, what do you do with people? What happens to the people? What happens to the populace? Fear. They learn to fear. Fear is respect. What, brother?
Fear the law.
Fear the law? All right. The law should represent truth and justice. All right? That's what it's supposed to do. All right? He said, whether he sells him or is found in his possession. This is talking about what we call slave traders. How can a man have ever been a slave trader and believed in the Bible?
He thought he was right.
Number 17. Here we go again, Brother Mike.
And he who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
He who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Why? Because the father and the mother represent what? God. All right? When you curse your parents, you
What
curse...
would indicate a curse? We always, some were sassy to our parents.
Mhm.
That was not a curse necessarily.
Be
What
damned
would a
or
curse
something.
actually amount to?
A curse is damning them. That's what it means. A very hard curse. It is cursing them. All right? Damning them. You know? Is what it's talking about. Wanting them. I mean, sometimes when things happen to a man, he will curse God. Remember? He will curse God. He will curse God. I remember, this is a long time ago, and this may ruffle your feathers just a little bit, but D.S. Madden, my old teacher, his father-in-law came out to Hollywood. Brother Madden lived in Anaheim, and he wanted to go look to see the movie stars and all this kind of stuff, and John Wayne was his real wonderful character. And Brother Madden told his father-in-law, why in the world would you want to go out there and see a bunch of liars? All they're doing is standing up there lying to you when they're doing these movies. And he said, John Wayne, when he got sick, cursed God for his sickness. He said, why would you want a man to worship a man that cursed God? That cursed God. When you curse your parents, you're cursing God. You're cursing their representation of God. Okay? Number 18. Number 18.
Can I ask you a question on that? I hear some young people that they tell their parents, father or mother, I don't like you, I hate you, I hate you. Is that considered a curse?
That's very bad behavior.
Use the
If they say, I want you to die, I curse you, I hope something bad happens to you, and then try to do it, that's pretty bad. All right. Number 18. Number 18. Tony, you want to read that, or? No. Okay. Go ahead.
If men have a quarrel, and one strikes the other with a stone or with his fist, and he does not die, but remains in a bed.
Go ahead. Go on.
No,
Uh-huh.
if he gets up and walks around outside on his back, then he who struck him shall go unpunished. He shall only pay for his loss of time, and shall take care of him until he is completely healed.
This is what we call workman's compensation law. This is PL and PD, people. What's PL and PD?
Property liability.
Personal liability and personal damage.
Property.
Personal damage, property damage. All right. These are the basic laws of workman's compensation, and these are the basic laws of when you inflict damage on somebody. Now, I remember I had a cousin that was kind of a brawler, and we were at some kind of a party one time, and he picked up a rock and put it in his hand and hit me right in the jaw with it. Just jumped up and broke a piece of my jaw. My jaw was floating around in there. This guy, boy, I wailed back at him and thumped on him a little bit. But what does it say here? He shall do what? He shall take a stone in his fist and hit him. Now, that's like brass knuckles, people. You remember the thugs and the brawlers in the old days, you know, when we had especially, they still do this today, but in the old days, when we had the law of the mob and the gangsters and the mafia, all of these guys in the mafia had brass knuckles. They were beating people up with these brass knuckles. And these are the old-time brass knuckles here, okay? If a man quarrels with one and with a stone and with his fist and he hurts him to where he has to be in bed, and if he gets up and walks around outside on his staff, he who struck him shall go unpunished. Now he just was a brawler, okay? But when you go and you hurt somebody, he shall pay for his loss of time and shall take care of him. You're not going to be going out and beating somebody up if you've got to feed him clothing until he gets well, are you? How many people are you going to be beating up, Brother Mike, if you have to take care of them and their family until they get well?
As many as you can afford.
How could they compel a man to do that? Today they'd say, I ain't gonna do it. So shut
Then
up.
put him in jail.
Yeah, but then he can't take care of the man.
Put him in jail until he changes his mind, and put him on bread and water. Or I'll tell you what they used to do.
Did they have jails in those days?
Oh, yes. We'll find out that later on, okay? Cities of refuge were like a jail. But now, Paul the Apostle, when he was in jail, let's go to Paul the Apostle's time, okay, in the Roman time. In Greek times, and at this time here, when a man was in jail, what happened to him in jail? Brother Fernando, you remember?
I don't know.
What happened to the guy in jail? Brother Mike.
Probably get hungry.
Who took care of him? Who took care of a man in jail?
His
Family.
family brought him food.
Only his family. If he was fed, his family fed him.
Yeah.
You putting a man in jail didn't have any family, he starved to death. Okay? All right. A long time ago, in jails, even when they began to feed them, it was bread and water. That's all. Bread and water. Nothing else. Bread and water. They were starving in jail. Now, if you put a man in jail today and fed him bread and water, or made his family take care of him, that'd take care of a bunch of these gangers, wouldn't it? They'd be busy out working, supporting all those. If you had a man in prison and his family had to support him instead of the government supporting his family and all these kids.
Yeah, but we're so much more advanced, we're not that inhuman people.
The government brings in bologna sandwiches now.
Let's go on now. All right, Brother Wally. Now we know that isn't good, don't we? I want you to tell me that that's baloney.
That was sarcasm.
That's the sarcasm. Yeah, that's it. I don't want them people out there in radio land and the world thinking you're well, these modern people, modern society. Verse number 18, Brother Wally. Oh, no, we're on past that. We're
20.
past that.
20.
All right, number 20.
And if a man smite a servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall be surely punished.
All right. Now, if a man,
It's a slave, ain't it?
I remember when I was young, and we were out picking cotton in the fields, some of those old people, those old guys, Marilyn, you remember,
Yeah.
what did these big farmers do back in those days?
Oh, well,
Some
I
of them,
heard
not all of them.
that, well, my dad talked about them riding their horse with a whip on the saddle horn, like they did in the South, treating them like slaves.
Yeah. Sometimes that happened. And out in the cotton field, there better not be one piece of cotton left in there either. It had to be picked.
We never treated our people that way.
That's. I said that some people. All right, some places they did this. Some places they did this. But it's not supposed to be doing that. And it says here now, even today, we work for other people sometimes. I mean, not everybody does, but we work for other people. If your boss gets mad at you and knocks your eyeball out,
You work with strong.
knock your tooth out or something. I worked with some of these people like this. It says, if a man strikes his male or female slave with a rod and he dies in his hand, he shall be punished. He will suffer vengeance, is what it means. All right. Number 21. Now let's look at this one and see what it says here. Brother Wally, number 21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money.
All right. What does it say there, Brother Fernando? And
If, however, he survives a day or two, no vengeance shall be taken, for he is his
his
property.
property. Now, if you go out there and you get mad at your tractor, Brother Wally,
Hit it with a hammer.
What's the Russian
and you start beating on that thing with a hammer, he gets the sledgehammer, he starts beating on the side of that caterpillar out there or whatever, he get mad at it, what is going to happen in the long run, brother?
You're hurting your property.
You're hurting your own property. You're going to have to fix it, aren't you? Now, if a man hurts his servant to where he can't work like he did before, what has he done to himself?
He's losing
He
money.
hurt himself. He hurt himself. All right, the big dummy. All right, number 22. Number 22. How come you don't have a Bible?
I have an old Bible. My Bible doesn't.
Well, I don't care.
My Bible doesn't have any verses.
I want
in
you
it.
to read.
I have a Bible from the early 1900s, and it has no verses.
Go up there and
You
get
need
one.
to
I'm
get
gonna
a
get
new-
you. They got to hear your
Bible.
voice on here.
Oh man.
Yeah, there, you've got a good voice.
Phillips.
You got a good voice. Excuses, Brother
Brother
Floyd.
Jim, let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did they say? I don't know if it's in Genesis or anything, but it says something when you do have a slave, you treat them like your own family,
That's right.
and they're doing so you
You
can't
treat them like your own family.
because they don't.
Okay.
Which one you want me to read, Jim?
Okay, number 22. Exodus
When men-
21.
When men strive together and hurt a woman with child so that there is a miscarriage, and yet no harm follows, the one who hurt her shall be fined according as the woman's husband shall lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine.
All right. All right. Now here, they're getting out here, there's a pregnant woman out there, and they hurt this pregnant woman, and they're going to pay a cost to this. They're going to pay for what happened, all right? This aborting this child, all right? They're
Isn't
going
that a
to,
death
they're going to
penalty?
pay.
Isn't that severe, like death penalty? You know, to kill.
Well, whatever the judges decide. Whatever the judges decide is what's going to happen. Now, Brother,
24 or 23?
yeah, I want number 23.
Okay. If any harm follows, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, a hand for hand, a foot for foot.
You know what that means? You've heard this old story, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, for a long time, haven't you? Now, if I go over there and I get in a fight with Hernando over there and knock his teeth out, okay, I'm not going to do that, brother. You're safe.
Don't scare me.
But what happens to me if I knock his teeth out, Brother Wally, under the law?
Well, you would have to buy him some false teeth, I guess.
Oh,
You get your teeth
well,
out.
that would be easy.
You'll
That
knock
would be
your teeth
you'd be
out.
getting off easy. You stand in front of the judges and they take a stone or a chisel and knock your teeth out.
Pretty tough.
Well, that's bad, isn't it? That's really inhuman, isn't it?
They get the
Now, if I go over
blood
there, if Brother Wally gets mad at me and he knocks my eye out,
Cal OSHA wouldn't have that.
huh?
Cal OSHA wouldn't
Now,
have
if Wally knocks my eye out now,
Yeah.
he'd go right before the judges, and what would happen to Brother Wally's eye?
Well, somebody knock it out.
Somebody knock your eye out.
Take this eye, it's the weak one.
Is that the bad one?
So you can feel what I feel.
Yeah. So you will feel what the victim felt. Now, today,
Isn't that
if they did this, how much crime would this abort?
A lot.
If the thugs that go out there, if they stab somebody, if they knock their eye out, these brawlers in these bars, if they bit somebody's ear off, and they had their ear tore off before the judge, their eye knocked out, their teeth knocked out, how much criminal activity would this control? Okay?
That'd be cool.
When God put, you heard, how many of you heard eye for eye, tooth for tooth, foot for
Oh,
foot,
yeah.
hand for hand, all of your life?
But what did Jesus say?
Yeah.
He made it perfect.
26.
Okay, let's go on. Later on, we're going to find about, we're going to get to the New Testament. But right now, we're setting down some basic rules. All right. Okay, brother,
26. right?
we got you under control here now.
I'm going to finish 25 and I'll go 26.
Okay, 25.
Burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe.
Okay, burn for wound, wound for wound, and bruise for bruise. You bruise your brother, you're going to get a bruise right in the same spot. Okay, whatever happens. A hand for hand, foot for foot. If you cause your brother to lose his hand, what happens to you? You lose the same hand. His finger, a foot, a toe, whatever you do, it's going to cost you. And when it costs you, you're going to feel, he said, have you ever heard anybody, I feel your pain.
Isn't this something with the judges, though?
Huh?
Isn't this something with the
Will.
judges? Because
This is civil justice, brother.
what if, like they say, an accidental flies off in the woods and hits somebody? You're not going to
Oh,
kill
well,
them.
we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We're getting to the, we're going to get all, we're going to look at this stuff like you've never looked at it before, maybe, okay?
City of refuge.
All right, 26. Come on. Now, I'm
26.
Yeah, okay.
When a man strikes
I want
the
these
eye,
people to hear you now,
Okay.
see, so they'll know who you are. You're over there sitting quiet too much.
When a man strikes the eye of a slave, male or female, and destroys it, he shall let the slave go free for the eye's sake. If he
Okay?
knocks out the tooth of the slave, male or female, he shall let the slave go free for the tooth's sake.
All right, now let's go. How important are your teeth to you?
We gotta eat.
Very important.
Huh?
Very important.
Right,
So you eat.
Very important.
Huh?
They're very important because you eat. You gotta eat.
You gotta
You gotta
eat.
chew on stuff.
All right. What else, Sister Andino?
Very important in life.
How many people have died because of their teeth in history?
Lots and lots
Yeah,
of
it will
people.
have to get decay.
Many.
Most people, most people in history, up until the 1900s, died because of tooth problems. Most people died because of tooth decay, what we call infections in their teeth. I remember still, Brother Wally, you probably remember this too. Most people, they pulled their teeth out as soon as they could. They did. My grandfather and my grandmother, as soon as they got to where they got up, my grandfather pulled all of his own teeth out, just pulled them all out. Because the teeth were what killed you.
Wasn't the wisdom teeth though, you think it was?
Well, all of them. They pulled them all out. They got rid of those teeth because those teeth caused infections, and that causes heart problems. Today, just in the last year, they have really realized. I'll take care of this machine. Dakota has a heart problem. Okay? She has a valve in her heart that's bad, my daughter. And I talked to the doctor. He said the most important, or she said, the most important thing is to keep good dental hygiene. When her wisdom teeth started coming in, she said, get her in and have those teeth pulled. It can set an infection and go into a pericardial infection and kill her. You have to have her teeth pulled. Get those wisdom teeth out, because they will cause problems. The cardiologists say that today the most important thing is to take care of your teeth. All right, take care of your teeth. Flossing your teeth. All of this is very important, because all of that decay in your mouth, it gets in your gums, which is very easy to do. Your gums start bleeding, whatever else, that infection goes straight to your heart. So when a man knocked his, God already knew this back here. God didn't learn anything new back here 4,000 years ago, okay? This isn't brand new to God. So when you knocked one of your servant's teeth out, teeth is probably the most important thing in your anatomy, okay? Because that is the key to good health. Keep your teeth in good shape, and you'll be in good shape. All right. Verse number 27. Now, verse number 28. Here we go over here with Sister Andino. I don't think I got you to read yet today. Number 28. Oh, Louise?
And when an ox goreth a man or a woman, and death ensueth, the ox shall surely be stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, and the owner of the ox shall be quit.
All right. The owner of the ox shall be unpunished. All right. Now, if an ox, or it's a wild animal, it's some kind of an animal. If it kills a person and goes after a person and kills them, it says, what about the ox? Ox is cow, isn't it? This is McDonald's, isn't it? Okay. this is food. All right? But he said his flesh shall not be eaten. Why? Why don't you eat this animal's flesh?
Because
Could have been mad.
Been stung.
They stole the thing.
Just think about
It could have been mad.
what used to happen. What?
Could have had
Probably got
rabies.
brain damage or something.
Could have had mad cow disease or
It
rabies.
might have had some kind of disease to cause this. That's the first thing. Maybe it has rabies or something. Or maybe it ate local weed or whatever. You don't want to get a secondary poisoning, do you? All right. The local weed is kind of weird stuff. Local weed is Jimson weed.
Peyote?
Huh? Well, no.
No, Jimson.
Local weed is all around. You come out there at my house, I'll show you some local weed.
There's some at Cal State. They're all over.
That's belladonna, right?
Local weed all over the place.
We had Jimson weed, but local weed was something else.
Yeah. Anyway, when they eat this stuff, it makes their senses go backwards. One time I was up in Glenville. I used to cut firewood up there, and I went down the hill, and one of the Albitris up there, Dan Albitri, had some cattle running out there, and I was going down real slow down this mountain. I had a couple of cords of firewood on my truck and was poking along and coming down the hill in Granite Station area as you come off of that hill down there. And one of them cows, they were out there in the road like this. And I had a big old bumper on my pickup or truck. And that cow gets out there and she's kind of staggering around and she runs right square in and hits my truck. I called Dan out there and I said, Dan, I think your cow got into some local weed. Instead of running away, they run to you. They think they're running away, but they run to you. And they do all kinds of crazy things. Horses, if they get local weed, will go plumb nuts. They'll do crazy stuff. And it's a toxin that, whatever. But something was probably wrong with this animal. It was either sick or diseased or something, so do not eat it. Okay? And it would be bruised if they stoned it to death, brother. All right, but that's not reason. And it's shown her. And then in verse number 29, and then I'm going to turn you loose. All right, let's look at this one. All right. If, however, an ox is previously in the habit of goring, and its owner had been warned, yet he does not confine it, and it kills a man or woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner shall also be put to death. You had a dangerous animal, and you allowed it to kill somebody, and so therefore you're directly responsible for what that animal did. All right. I hope you
I was gonna say.
learned a little something from the Word today. And we'll start off with verse number 30.
It's like today with the dogs, when the dog attacks somebody that the owner also.
And they knew the dog was mean
And if
already.
the dog was mean, you're in trouble.
They train them.
If you have a stud horse, if you have a stallion, that stallion has to be in a 6-foot fence, at least. You cannot put it out there. If it gets out, if it hurts anybody, you're in trouble. Because stallions basically are mean. They are aggressive. Okay, I mean there are some of them that aren't, but basically they are. Brother
Brett.
Brother Brett, you took part in the class today, reading and everything else.
Man, I didn't do anything.
You have been overworked today.
This is a great class.
All right. He's our assistant to our assistant.
The assistant of the assistant of the
He's tired.
assistant.
He's our
I'm
assistant.
like the backup of the backup. You know, I'm like a third stringer. You know?
I know. Brother
So don't
Phillips,
expect too much. You know what I mean? I'm a third stringer.
I don't know.
Yes, that's right.
When are we going to start about the tabernacle? Floyd
Did
and
you
I
guys-
we are anxious.
You have anything?
When we're going to get to it.
Just wait for my nephew.
We're going to study it and just,
He's got
well,
cancer.
pretty soon. When we get to this, I think this is too important to just go over. So we're going to look at this stuff and just see some things, and then we're going to get to the tabernacle, which is just down the line, just a little way.
Was it trigger a stallion?
All right. Now, the Shekinah glory of God never was in Herod's temple, but the temple stood, and it stood on the same place where Solomon's temple stood. Faith upon God. My little girl over there, Dakota, she goes to school with an atheist. And this atheist has always given her a hard time. And he's saying the Bible does not exist, is a bunch of people's imaginary writings and ideas. Do you know that it's harder to believe in atheism than it is in the Bible? That evolution is mathematically impossible to happen. Evolution, you cannot prove that evolution, the chances of things evolving according to mathematical science is totally illogical and cannot have been. Now if you take the Bible and you just accept what God says God created, all right? We find out in science that God created from an instant that all things go back to a certain period of time, all right? It started right there. Even when they talked about the Big Bang Theory, you ever hear about the Big Bang Theory? They say the Big Bang happened so many billions of years ago,